Camus Boats, from the mind of Earl Bentz. Excellence, tradition, and service, all part of the Camus advantage. On the water, perfection. This is your next boat. Build your next boat at camusboats.com. Ducket Fishing, pro-driven rods, reels, and baits. The choice of champions. Check out ducketfishing.com to see what everybody's talking about. Ducket Fishing, pro-driven. Our guest today is a member of the independent media, which means there are no restrictions imposed by tournament organizations who seek to control narratives. His opinions are his own. His YouTube channel, Get Your Fish On, offers a fresh look into the world of tournament bass fishing. It's one of my favorite channels. When a video drops, I stop what I'm doing and I watch. Steve Chapman, welcome to the Bass to Anglers podcast. Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you for having me, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, your background. I mean, how in the world did you fall into the world of independent bass fishing coverage?
Ugh. The long story short is I used to work for AAA.
Okay.
And then I left AAA to do graphics or websites for guides. And at about 2007, ESPN reached out to myself and my friend Dave and asked if we wanted to do a radio show.
Wow.
And Dave was a guide. He was a guide. So we really just went on just promoting Dave. And then from there, it went to, I left there to go with another person. And then we changed the name to Fishing Florida Radio about 2009. And then it became, instead of just being saltwater fishing, it became everything fishing. And I had done a lot of graphics for boat manufacturers and boat engines and bait companies. And I still am to this day doing those graphics. And I also edit for two major channels that people just don't realize. So I think probably about 2009, 2010, in that range, I started covering everything fishing. And the thing is that when you start dealing with fishing, when you start looking at the percentage of people who watch saltwater fishing versus the people who watch bass fishing, you quickly realize that bass fishing is where you need to cover. Being a competitive angler, people think that it's just the easiest thing on earth. That it couldn't be further from the truth. It is not easy. Being a professional angler is one of the hardest things to do in this world because the competition level is so high. Sorry to get off on a different.
I think what it kind of comes down to is, is what can I bring to this? What can I bring to this arena? And I've been involved in this a very long time. I've been fishing bass fishing tournaments back in the 80s. I'm an old guy. And, when Randy Blockett talks about, his years and yeah, Randy, I know, I know, I remember. I remember when we go to a bass tournament and they would, guys would be weighing their fish on stringers and the fish would all be dead and there'd be a big fish fry afterwards.
How the world has changed.
Yeah, exactly. In some ways it has, in some ways it hasn't. It may be more amplified now than it was.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's jump into this. So did you actually work for ESPN or
this was an ESPN radio station. So the first fishing radio show we did on two ESPN channels.
Okay.
And it was called Hog Wild Fishing Charters because that's what Dave's thing was. And we like I said, it was more just a promotion to promote Dave as a guide.
Mm-hmm.
And of all things, it was the first interview I ever did was in about 2009. I did with Ray Scott. And to be quite honest, I knew nothing about bass fishing other than I just loved fishing.
Yeah.
I knew who Kevin Van Dam and all those guys were, of course, but I didn't, this is crazy to say now, I didn't know who Ray Scott was. And and we went to that. He did love it because he wanted to meet me before we did the interview. And he was at an academy or some launching up here in Central Florida. And he was signing his the Bass Boss book. And in doing so, he said, come meet me so we can talk about what we're going to talk about on the radio. And I thought, who is this guy to tell me this? And then sitting down for 2 or 3 hours with him, probably 4 or 5 hours, I realized, oh my gosh, I'm talking to like the Lefty Cray of bass fishing.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Ray he was the most political of the political out there.
Yes.
And he wasn't going to he was not going to let a narrative get out of his control for sure.
And that's exactly what he wanted to do. That's why he met me and we had
Yeah.
lunch. We might have went to dinner. I don't remember if it was lunch and dinner. He wanted to know exactly how the interview was going to go. And it probably exactly how it was.
Yeah.
And he became a friend then. And we talked, I can't even tell you the amount of times we talked after that. And it was just an honor and a privilege to know him.
I'm Keith Neiswanger. This is the Bass Tour Anglers podcast. Please remember to like and subscribe. If you'd like to reach us, please send us a direct message on Instagram at Bass Tour Anglers Podcast. Take care. Be safe. We'll talk to you next time.